Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy SCGRANT here, and we're back with City Skylines. Now, normally, this would definitely be something like a continuation of Los Angeles builds, but that playlist is officially concluded, as what I'm about to tell you is unexpected. So, what you're seeing in the background is the latest DLC to come out of City Skylines, now that it's officially 11 years old, and that would be the Race Day DLC. Now, is this a creator pack? Actually, no. This is actually the first time that we gotten a major expansion or even some sort of expansion and not a creator pack since 2023 when they concluded with the Hotels and Retreats DLC. But here's the more kicker about all of this. Colossal Order did not make this expansion. Oh no. This was Titleist Media who did this. That's right, the people who ported the game to consoles is now taking the mantle of creating its very first gameplay expansion. Now, as you see here, this is actually mostly pretty much a motor racing, but not really. It's in actuality more than you thought. So yes, as I concurred, basically in the beginning of March, it was announced that not only is City Skylines was turning 10 years old, but in fact it was even throwing in some major components. Number one, for the Race Day DLC itself, they even went as far as to conclude that, yeah, this was Titleist Media's first major expansion since they were pretty much a hired developer to basically port all the DLCs from the PC to the consoles. Any DLCs afterwards. But so here's my personal take on this whole ordeal. I believe that because of the 3 previous content updates, that would be the Mountains bundle, the Countryside Downtown bundle, and the Shops of Shibuya bundle, those were not just, content updates or just extra content packs, map packs, and all that. It was a test to see if Titleist Media is willing to actually make a full-blown expansion, meaning new gameplay elements were going to be added to the game. And as you see, not only is this what pretty much the title suggested, it also includes the fact that we've had, here's the thing about what you're seeing on screen. We're seeing a literal raceway basically taking place. An event is already taking place, and I'm using the Los Angeles build that I did some time ago and basically use it as a template. I need to know what I have to work with, as mostly, as you can see, as I did tests, this could work. Because it turns out pretty much what was added to the game was that I never thought that I would use Los Angeles as a test build. I basically went ahead and made pretty much a simple track and basically got at least 16 races to drive on it. It was not not what I expected, but there are some ups and back and forth, some oddities that was in here. Most notably because, remember, in real life, racetracks aren't all equal, meaning they're not flat as you would expect it. There are races that go as far as be something similar to Monaco, where they convert basically actual public streets into a full-blown racing circuit, and including turns, upstills, and including slopes. Yes, slopes are a thing. And there's even circuits that are on bridges, as you see here. So I took that mindset and was able to pretty much put together this pretty much test track to see how it works. As you can see, but I managed to get the circuit cruisers up and running. 60 of them is actually, but they have their own teams like Moose Turning, Microtech, Hyper Auto, etc., etc. And the best part is that if you chose either circuit cruisers or hypercars for the racetrack itself, as the event occurs, and it goes to the night, you can see that they have headlights. And I think Formula 1 cars don't have headlights, so that's pretty much a good thing. That's why we have what I placed on the racetrack, pretty much on the side of them are pretty much lights. So because once again, another thing that I noticed, another oddity, is that sometimes when you have racetracks that have slopes, they sometimes do a bit of a jumping, yes, because of the slopes. But the fact is that this was odd that they can do this. So it's obviously that there's still some kinks to work out, because once again, you got the racetrack, you got the cars, you got everything there. It's the physics you gotta worry about, because once again, if you see any of the race cars, racing down the track itself, and you're just sliding, going through the road, just clipping through the road itself, it's obviously that there's still some kinks to work out. Because once again, these cars were originally meant for pretty much what goes on flat race, literally flat. But if you try to throw in, pretty much anything else, like doing slopes like you see on the screen here, it's obviously that this is definitely definitely some sort of an oversight, because once again, this DLC is definitely packing, but not without its faults. Most notably, the fact is that you can only, and similar to what I'm going to discuss a little bit on, is the fact is that you can only host these races once every in-game year. You can choose any day or month, but not every year. It's basically tied to every year, so that's going to take a while for that to occur. So I'm most likely it's most likely so when the race is not occurring, but there are other things to put in mind. You forgot that there are cycling races, and running races, and parades. Cycling races is most likely relegated to triathlons, because that's what I refer to them as, because that's not really cycling, they're triathlons. So basically, but the best part is that, and I have yet to test it, was that you have pretty much public streets, yes. While the raceways are meant for race cars, we have most of the pack having most of the parade, cycling races, and running races set on public streets, but you need a specific road type in order to do it. Yes, new road types have been added specifically for this expansion. So keep that in mind, because remember, having these cars, well, most notably the race cars, will not work on public roads. You need a specific road type. That's what they get you, because they knew that if we're gonna get this, can we get something similar to the Monaco Street circuit style? And they did. You have to connect a specific road type with the racetrack itself in order to do it. And once again, they took inspiration from the Monaco racing circuit. They took inspiration and was able to add that into the game. That's another thing that when they were advertising this DLC, is that whether or not we can actually take these Formula 1 cars, circuit cruisers, and hypercars to the streets. And yes, you can, but with a different road type. It's just showing that pretty much Ted it's gotten their foot in the ground. It's pretty much put their foot down and was able to yep, we are going all in on this. But once again, as of me recording this official edition did come out along with its other remedies, along with the 8-gear radio station. That's a new thing they got added. Once again, radio stations are always a welcome plus. But what I'll be discussing for pretty much, because this is actually one of 2 videos regarding what came out on March 10, 2026, that would be the iconic brutalism and renewing history creator packs that will be discussed in the very next video, because this is one of 2 videos covering City Skylines as a whole. But there's another oddity. You see, because of the fact of the slopes, yes, and I'm gonna remember about the slopes. Another thing was of the free update. So a little side note, the free update was released, but it came with bugs. Most notably, it turns out you can review pretty much every citizen's employment, but you can also place road signs. Remember how you can place trees on the roads? Now you can do that with fences. However, it came with another problem. You can place in the fences, but there is no button prompt to remove them. Remember, this is basically PC content ported to consoles, so there was never a button prompt when it first launched. It took them a week, and yes, I have recorded footage after they put out a pretty much a weekly hotfix to get that situated, and it did. So, where does it all lead to me? My personal thoughts on City Skylines' race day DLC as a whole. Well, apart from me have yet to test out the circuit, the cycling, running races, and parades, I can tell from the footage that it definitely definitely smart. Like I said before, after seeing this coming to both PC and consoles, I'm saying that a lot of people are coming back to it, because once again, City Skylines has set over 12 million copies. What do you expect? And this is Taylor's being his first taste of an actual gameplay expansion overall that's being added to the game, and seeing these race cars in action, it can show that Taylor's being is willing to hold their own now they know full the capabilities of what City Skylines 1 is made of, since they're pretty much the de facto lead developer of City Skylines as of me writing this. So we don't know what lies in the future or what else they're gonna bring to the table in the future. But without further ado, overall, I really like this new pack, and the fact of the matter is that as of what you see in the footage, I have literally recorded the whole race in action, so at day and night. So I want to see how the night works, because apart from the bouncy phases, because once again, there's still some kinks that need to be worked out. But overall, race day DLC is a new addition. I have also noticed that there's some people complaining about some bugs and stuff, but as of me concordance and probably from some of the glaring visual cues and visual oddities, yes, this this DLC has pretty much went without a hitch. But once again, offense had to come in to basically fix some of the problems they had. But yeah, I have not encountered any game-breaking bugs. That's a good sign because I think I had the autosave turned off, just in case. So yes, everything all went smoothly on my end, but I don't know about anybody else who also have access, so I think the free update made up in the cost of it, but it will most likely get patched and most likely cap things off in March 2024. Anyway, I'll see you all in part 2 with Iconic Brutalism and Renewed Histories Creator Packs. Anyway, this is your boy SCGRANT, and thank you for tuning in to the gaming channel. Anyway, I will see you all in the next one. Take care.